Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comic books and I'll let you know what I thought about them. And it is a fifth week, but we don't have fifth week Wednesday blues anymore because we got a giant stack of comics to get into. And we always start with the pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week, Godzilla vs. Spider-Man, issue number 1. This is a one-shot from Marvel Comics pitting Godzilla against Spider-Man. It's written by Joe Kelly with artwork by Nick Bradshaw. And y'all, I am just as surprised as you because this is a giant stack of comics I've read. And to me, the creme de la creme was Godzilla vs. Spider-Man. Now, this is a series of one-shots that Marvel is doing. They did Godzilla vs. Fantastic Four. I didn't really like that one. They did Godzilla vs. Hulk. I thought that one was okay. But Godzilla vs. Spider-Man, I thought was pretty freaking excellent. In fact, the one word I would use to describe this book would be fun. This book was insanely fun. It has an old school approach, but it's kind of like poking fun at the old school approach, at the same time honoring and respecting that approach, right? So it's set kind of back in, well, in our timeline, the 80s, right? So Spider-Man has the symbiote spider costume, and he doesn't know quite all how it works yet, and Black Cat's involved, Mary Jane's involved, thought bubbles, captions, oh, and also Godzilla. That's right, Godzilla exists in this world. He shows up. It's a whole thing. Now, I don't want to spoil this book, but I know that you out there, you're very astute. Symbiote Spider-Man, Godzilla, what do you think Marvel's going to do? I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's pretty freaking awesome. And Nick Bradshaw's artwork is the star of the show. It truly has the spectacle and the scope and the scale that a book like this deserves. And at the same time, knowing what it is. This is a Godzilla vs. Spider-Man book. This is just meant to be fun. It's not meant to change lives. It's not meant to change the medium. It's not meant to go after Ringo or Eisner Awards or anything like that. It's meant to put Spider-Man up against Godzilla, and it does it in a very fun, buoyant way with incredible artwork from Nick Bradshaw. I had a lot of fun with this book, y'all. Y'all get what I'm saying? This book was fun. Comic books can be deep and nuanced and resonating, but they can also just be spectacly fun, and that's what this one is. Marvel gets another pick of the week in 2025 with Godzilla vs. Spider-Man. We also got Wolverine and Kitty Pryde issue number 1. This is written by Chris Claremont. It is a sequel to Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, which was the book he did back in the 80s with Al Milgrom. We actually covered it here on the channel on a Marvel in the 80s. It has been clipped out. It's on the channel. If you want to check it out, you should. Type in Pop Culture Philosophers, Kitty Pryde versus Wolverine. But that being said, Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, it was aight. It's aight. I mean, it's decent. Like, it's not a bad script. It's okay. It's like after the events of Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, this is what happens immediately after. And it's tied into the whole Cask of the Ancient Winters crossover that was going on at the time. I recently was on stage with Chris Claremont at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. He talked about this book, kind of what his idea behind it was. I think he's doing exactly what he's accomplished, or he set out to accomplish. The artwork is, it's alright. It's nothing really to write home about. It's just okay. It gets the job done. But if you are a fan of that Kitty Pryde and Wolverine series, which is pretty BA, this is a nice kind of light follow-up to it, to get you back in that old school kind of vein. Then we got Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 16, Marco Checchetto and Jonathan Hickman. Now, this issue is pretty freaking interesting because it tells us the true origins of Mysterio in the Ultimate Universe. And it's way different than I was anticipating. I did not see the swerves in this issue coming. So kudos to Jonathan Hickman and the team for keeping me guessing about this Ultimate Spider-Man book. The characters at their core are kind of the same, but there are a lot of differences, okay? This is a really cool book. It's mostly just kind of explaining some stuff in the past to recontextualize some of the series so far to set up what's coming in the future. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool, and I really like the revelations in this issue. They're rather surprising. Then we've got Weapon X-Men issue number 3, a fantastic issue of Weapon X-Men, wrapping up the first arc and setting what's to come. The sad thing is this book has been canceled, I guess is the word we could say. I was hoping this book would go on for a while, but I guess the powers that be decided it was going to stop at like issue 5 or 6, something like that. That sucks because this is a really interesting team that Joe Casey has put together. He is the writer of the book. Chris Cross is the artist. It's had a nice, fun, what I love about Marvel Comics and X-Men Marvel Comics approach, right? You just throw together a team through circumstance. They bond, they form. This team is Wolverine, Cable, Deadpool, Thunderbird, and Chamber, because Joe Casey has to have Chamber in his book for some reason. Anyway, that being said, Weapon X-Men has been a great book. Issue number 3 was awesome. A really great action-packed, climactic finish to the first arc, but at the same time setting up what is about to happen next. I want this book to continue on. Even if it ends at issue 5 or 6, can we get another volume of this? Because this is the X-Men book that I think would really resonate with old school X-Men fans, especially if you're fans in the 90s, whether it was through the characters of Cable and Deadpool or through the work in the later part of the 90s from people like Joe Casey. Weapon X-Men issue number 3, pretty freaking awesome. Then we got Fantastic Four issue number 31. I didn't like this issue. The basic premise of this issue is Ben Grimm has now reverted back to human form because of the machinations of Doctor Doom, right? And it's causing the other members of the Fantastic Four to lose their powers, even though there have been plenty of times in the past where Ben has not been the Thing, and that's not a thing. No pun intended. That being said, that's fine. But even though the way that the team is going about trying to bring Ben back as the Thing, it's pretty silly, and it's just pretty silly to me, honestly. And the ending of this book makes no sense. Now, maybe I'm just confused. Maybe I'm tired. It's been a long week, right? But I just didn't like it. And I love the Fantastic Four. But this book, I think, rather sucked. All right, then we've got Red Hulk issue number 3. I'm still liking Red Hulk. It's pretty solid. Thunderbolt Ross, a.k.a. Red Hulk, is in a dungeon of Doctor Doom's along with some other people, and they're trying to basically do a prison breakout, right? It's exciting. It's got a great pace to it. It's got solid artwork from Jeff Shaw. There's not a lot of Red Hulk in it. I mean, there is visually, but it's mostly in just mind, if that makes sense. But I like the book. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. I mean, it's ultimately forgettable. It's not going to be one of those things like 20 years from now we're like, yo, you remember that Red Hulk book from 2025? That's not what's going on. But for the time and right now, it's a pretty solid, interesting Marvel comic. And so is Hellhunters. This is issue number 5, the final issue for now. I would love to see this concept come back. It's been really interesting. It's set in the 40s, World War II era, Nazis, the occult, demonic forces, and then you have heroes joining forces through demonic forces as well, through the work of the Ghost Rider, right? So you get the Ghost Rider of the 40s, the Sorcerer Supreme of the 40s, you got Bucky, and the way that Bucky is written in this book is so much freaking fun. Peggy Carter, Wolverine, Nick Fury. It's a cool team, it's a cool concept, it was a great finish, and I want to see more of this. This book had really exciting pace to it, and it had great artwork. So I really, really thought that was great. Moving over to DC. From DC Comics, we have Batman, Superman, World's Finest, the annual. It's the third part of We Are Yesterday. We Are Yesterday is basically Gorilla Grodd in the past, or my bad, Gorilla Grodd in the present, time travels to the past, gathers the Legion of Doom to bring them to the present to... because he thinks that, like, the Legion of Doom in their prime, I guess, have more of a chance against the Justice League. And apparently it's working because they're the big revealed villains, right? Is the Legion of Doom yesterday, led by the Gorilla Grodd of today. Doesn't it seem like these villains more seasoned? would be the bigger threat. But at the same time, he's kind of right, because these villains aren't teaming up anyway. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. But this issue was alright. It wasn't as good as the first part or the second part. Those are pretty solid. This one, it's alright. It's kind of filler, and that's disappointing. And it's big and it's chunky. So, I mean, I guess overall it is essential to your understanding of this story. And it does have a nice setup at the end, but it takes a while to get there. It's a bit long. The artwork's just okay, and the story's just okay. So there you go. Then we got Detective Comics Annual, issue number 1. They should legacy number the annuals, too. Wouldn't that be interesting? Anyway, so this is just a one-and-done Batman comic. 2 stories in there. There is a backup story that's pretty cute. It's about this, like, kid detective trying to figure out a mystery in his school. He winds up getting involved in the same mystery that Batman's trying to solve. But it was light, it was cute, and it was charming. The main story is interesting. It's written by Al Ewing, and it is a straight-up detective story with some really interesting turns to it. Ultimately, it's okay. It's better than okay. It's good. It's solid, but it wasn't great. But I don't know. Honestly, my expectation of an Al Ewing Batman story was kind of low, and I was rather impressed with it. It does have some bits in there that kind of make it maybe feel a little bit padded, but aside from that, it was a nice one-and-done Batman comic that focused heavily on the detective nature of Batman, had some cool concepts, and a decent enough payoff. So Detective Comics Annual was actually pretty good. Then we've got Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue number 7. This book is starting to lose me just a little bit. It doesn't feel like it has the solid narrative thread of The Long Halloween or Dark Victory or Catwoman When in Rome. Now, maybe it would feel better all read at once, because I think maybe the art styles being so different from issue to issue, because it's a different artist each issue, I don't know if that's adding to this disjointed feeling of the book, but it doesn't feel like it's very narratively cohesive. There is a mystery, but it just doesn't feel like enough really happens. But I don't know. Maybe I gotta read a chunk together again and see how it works as a story as a whole. The art, though, in this issue was done by Dave Johnson. One of the best parts of The Last Halloween has been the art. Basically, people coming in to tribute Tim Sale and finishing out this work for him, each doing their own issue. Dave Johnson is a fantastic artist. His storytelling in this one is all right. It's a little bit stiff. There are moments, though, where you see why Dave Johnson is Dave Johnson. It's mostly the graphic sense of the book, but the flow of the stories is just a little bit clunky, and it kind of threw me off just a little bit. I feel like we're 7 issues in, and this is not near as intriguing of a mystery or a story, or as far as character work goes, as Long Halloween, Dark Victory, When in Rome, and those books. Also, we got a cool, neat facsimile. It is More Fun Comics, issue number 73, aka the first appearance of Aquaman. So you know I had to get it. A foil facsimile of the first appearance of Aquaman. Aquaman was way different back in the day, just so y'all know. Pretty cool. Alright, let's jump over to Image Comics. From Image Comics, we got a new one. Lost Fantasy, issue number 1. This is by Kurt Perez and Luca Casalangaida. I think that's how you say their names. Maybe. Lost Fantasy was a pretty nifty book. I really liked it. It's big and it's chunky and it's only $4.99, but it's got a lot of story to it. This is a world in which there is a fantasy world underneath our reality world, right? And what happens when those worlds start kind of combining, especially in the late 1800s or something like that, and then there's basically a government agency that's supposed to keep these things in check. It was an interesting book. It was cool. If you like fantasy stuff, but you also like fantasy stuff that's a bit more grounded. Like, I wouldn't say or call myself a big fantasy fan, but I did like this book because it has a sense of grounded reality to it. I guess because it does take place in the real world. There's like these bureaucratic type things going on with this agency, but that's not the focus. Focus is on this character who's a part of it. But the artwork, the pacing, the setup, everything about it was pretty freaking awesome. I liked the book a lot. And also, Kurt Perez has done a follow-up to, what's that book called? Indigo Children. So the next chapter of Indigo Children is in the back of Lost Fantasy, and I'm pretty sure I don't know if this is just like a preview of an upcoming Indigo Children book, or if it's going to be told in the back of this, but that would be a cool, pretty interesting idea. But Lost Fantasy #1 was a winner. Then we've got G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Silent Missions, Duke. This was almost the pick of the week. I almost picked it as the pick of the week because of just wondering if it was going to, bother you-know-who. That being said, this was a really solid book. Why? Because it's done by Wes Craig with Jason Wordie on the coloring. Wes Craig is an amazing artist, and this is a really solid, beautifully rendered Duke silent mission, right? You get the flow of the story, you get some amazing artwork, the composition, the graphic sense of it, the coloring by Jason Wordie. This is all real top-notch stuff. And here's the beautiful thing about G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Silent Missions, is even if you are 300 and something issues behind on the main Larry Hama series, even if you aren't into the Energon universe, you can pick this up and just enjoy this comic. And that is the beauty of these Silent Missions. They are great, and they also really showcase the power of sequential storytelling, because every single one of these books has been done by a master of sequential storytelling. Not just somebody who can draw pretty pictures, not just someone who can, make things look interesting and realistic or cool and different or dynamic, but somebody who can actually do all of that and tell a story clear, concise, and beautiful. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Silent Missions, Duke, runner-up for your pick of the week. Then we got Void Rivals here with issue number 18. I guess this is the end of the third arc of Void Rivals, and I would say this. First arc of Void Rivals, pretty solid and interesting. Second arc was awesome. Third arc has taken a little bit more of a step back, but it's taking that step back to put some things in the works to really have a big payoff, and it starts happening here at the end of arc 3 with issue number 18. There's some more revelations, some more talking, some more figuring things out, and then push comes to shove, and we hit a point at the end of this book. Dun, dun, dun! Arc 4 begins not so long from now. Void Rivals, the whole Energon universe, has been fun, including that book. All right, then we got Feral here with issue number 12. 12 issues of Feral now. The ongoing series is basically like a zombie story, but it's really rabies, and it's not humans, it's cats. That's awesome. And of course, the artwork is amazing. Trish Forstner is doing all of the animals in a cute Don Bluthy type style. Tone Rodriguez is doing everything else artistically speaking, and it has a more realistic approach, so the book looks like an animated movie from Don Bluth or whatever favorite period of Disney film you like. It is a great book. It is powerful. It is poignant. It is sad. It is nuanced. This is a book that has taken everything I have taken for granted about zombie fiction because it's just been so done to death, and is doing basically the same thing but with cats in such a unique and interesting and well thought out way that it's bringing the impact of zombie fiction back into my heart. And I thank the writer Tony Fleece and the artist Trish and Tone for that. Team Triple T, you're killing it. You're doing a great job. This issue was no exception. And you're getting into a Dawn of the Dead type vibe. There's a pet store. These cats see it. And they're like, if we can get in that pet store, we've got it made. Sounds similar. Sounds like Dawn of the Dead, but with cats and a pet store. And I'm all here for it. Plus, the cover homage this month is to Pearl, one of the greatest recent modern horror films and character studies out there. Yes, please. That was awesome. All right. Then we've got The Seasons here with issue number 4. This is an alright issue of The Seasons. My least favorite so far, mostly because most of the issue was just a rhyme. And there's a lot of rhyming in comics this week. And I can handle a little bit of rhyming. Sometimes, man, it's just too much. Like, sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I'm reading a comic book from DC, Etrigan the Demon shows up, and I'm like, damn it. I don't know why, but it's just something about it. There's a lot of rhyming in here. It's fine. Basically, the carnival opens, this evil, wicked carnival, this mysterious carnival, and Spring's sister Summer is somehow involved in it, and that's basically the whole issue. Not a lot happens here. It's a bunch of fucking rhyming. This was a weak issue of Seasons. I'll be honest with you. All right, then we've got We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, issue number 2. This was pretty cool, and the second issue really kind of strengthens the concept and what this book is going to be about. I found the first issue all right, but it pulled itself together at the end. Issue 2, I think, actually improves upon the momentum established in issue number 1 and really brings the story into focus and view. So what it is, it's about the daughter of a supervillain, right? And the superhero one day just finds him, comes and starts attacking him. Now, he's a supervillain. He's like a retired supervillain. He's done with it, right? And he's in hiding. He's got like an army of robots to take care of him and his daughter. They come, attack him. His daughter is now with a robot that seems to have her father's personality, and it's up to this robot to save her. You'll find out more about the world, more about the characters, more about the villains in this story. This is really solid. I like the artwork. I like the coloring. I like the flow. I think this has been one of the best Matthew Rosenberg books I've read so far. 2 issues in. We shall see how it develops, though. We also got You'll Do Bad Things, issue number 2. This is from Tyler Boss, my bad. Tyler Boss. The first issue did not sell me, and I found the premise of the book rather confusing. I thought I couldn't think of if the book is this or if the book is that. Now, I loved the artwork. That continues here in issue number 2. I did enjoy issue number 2 better than issue 1. Kind of like We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, even though I thought issue number 1 of this was way more obtuse, right? Like, I just could not really make sense of what this book was. Maybe that's my fault, but issue number 2 clarifies some stuff, I think. But it's about a writer who had a very popular, famous book that made a lot of money because he solved an active murder case. Now he's trying to write a romance novel. Now there's another series of murders going on. Now, I thought there was something in the first book that made it seem like he was writing this into existence. I don't know. None of that's in issue 2. Maybe was I tripping when I was reading that book? I don't know. But issue number 2, I liked it a little bit better, but it still didn't fully focus itself enough for me. We'll see what happens at issue number 3. Then we've got Bitterroot, the next movement, issue number 2. The next chapter in the Bitterroot saga. We move up into the 1960s, down south to Mississippi. So we're dealing with the civil rights era and all the contention going on there around segregation. And you've got the family down there trying to fight these Jinnu. And they have the government's backing, but they're in the midst of this segregation now and all that kind of stuff. So you got, I mean, it's Bitterroot. If you like Bitterroot, you're going to love this. I love Green's artwork. It's absolutely cool, especially all the monster stuff. The layouts are really fun. You got a sense of like macabre energy to it. In a really good pace. I like the vibe of the story. I'm liking this next chapter in the, what are they, the Sanguieri family or something like that. But I like the original Bitterroot, and I'm loving this one too. I like the new setting. I like the story. I like the development of the characters. Some nice surprises there too. Then we got the Rockefellers here with issue number 5. This book is losing me. It feels like we're taking forever for shit to actually happen in this book. This is a focus on the dog. That's cool. The little girl faints. They take her to the doctor. While that's going on, their house gets infiltrated and the dog has to protect it. I don't know. I like the artwork. I like the characters enough. First issue was really solid. But as these issues have progressed, I feel like we're just kind of stuck in second gear. We're not really going any more than like 20, 25 miles per hour. But anyway, The Rocketeers number 5 was all right. I might give it one more issue to see what happens because there was a revelation at the end, or maybe, potentially, that's interesting. But we'll see. All right, I got to give a big shout out to Dan Sim. Let me check the time. All right, big shout out to Dan Sim, who sent me the new Youngblood issue number 1. That's right, this is the brand new Youngblood that Rob Liefeld is doing. And you know what? I could not be happier that Rob Liefeld is back doing Youngblood. I know he really regretted all the steps that led to him not having the rights to Youngblood. I know he regretted that. He wasn't part of that Image 30th anniversary. But now we're celebrating 33 years. Youngblood was the first Image comic, and it's cool to see it come back. So Dan, thank you so much for sending this to me. You sent me the Mark Spears cover. My buddy Mark crushed it at the expo this year. And it's also signed by Mr. Rob Liefeld. So that's awesome. I read it. What do I think? I think it's Rob Liefeld doing what Rob Liefeld does. and I'm here for it. It's not, if you're not a Rob Liefeld fan, you're not going to like it. There you go. But if you're a Rob Liefeld fan, you're going to enjoy it. There is something about it I love, and the thing I love the most is that Rob is back on Youngblood, and I know that means a lot to him, so that means a lot to me. All right, let's jump over to Bad Idea. But before we get to Bad Idea, once again, Dan, thank you so much for sending me this Youngblood. Not only sending me the new Youngblood that I couldn't get a hold of, but sending me the Mark Spears cover and sending it signed by Rob Liefeld. I gotta make sure my boy Mark can sign it too. I'll send you a picture when I do. But thank you so much, y'all. Robbie Week is next week. So celebrate, watch baseball, eat tacos, read comic books, watch good movies, watch my content. Celebrate Robbie Day on May 10th, right? So, Dan, I'm considering this a birthday gift. Thank you so much. In fact, you even said happy early birthday. This is what Dan said in his note. Pop, pop, boom. Enjoy, Robbie. Happy early birthday. I want to see it on the weekly comic book review. Well, Dan, you got it right there. Also, Damien, thank you so much. Sleepy Reader 666 sent me 8.5 from my Amazon wish list. Thank you so much, homie. This is now getting added to the PCP movie lineup for 2026. Look for us to cover this one in January of next year. I love Fellini. I love Italian film. I love this movie, and I did not have it. So thank you so much. If you want to send your favorite comic book reviewer on YouTube a birthday present, there is an Amazon wish list down there. It has a bunch of stuff, mostly movies. You can purchase something if you feel so inclined, and it will be sent to me. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. I'll also throw another list on there that's other things other than movies, but whatever. All right, let's move on. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you all. But the biggest birthday present you could give me would a like, share, and subscribe. That'd be cool. From Bad Idea, we have Planet Death issue number 0 from the creator of John Wick. Also Robert Venditti. So Bad Idea was a thing where comic shops had to go through so many loopholes to be able to carry their books that they weren't really available to everybody. This is the first Bad Idea book that's available to pretty much everybody. They printed like 650,000 of these things. It's very thin. It's $1.99. It's small. There's not a lot to it. It's just a 0 issue, just a setup for the series to come. And it was pretty freaking cool, y'all. It was pretty freaking cool. And it's available to every comic shop, so you shouldn't have trouble finding it. And I would say for $1.99, check it out, because the artwork is amazing. And what's cool is this is printed on flimsy newsprint paper, but the art still works. It still works, and the coloring is there, and the nuance of the coloring still comes through. Sometimes when you see books printed on newsprinty type stuff nowadays, it doesn't really work very well. This one does. So I really like this book, and I'm excited to read the series, and I'm glad that Bad Idea had a good idea and made some books available for a widespread audience. That's cool. And because it's made of that newsprinty material, it also gets the smell of the week. Oh yes, now smell of the week. It's what I like now, smell of the week. It's newsprint smell of the week. Oh yeah, now. Smell of the week. All right. Then we got Turbo Hawk issue number 1. This is from Cosmic Lion Productions. Maybe this came out a week or two ago. I don't know. I finally got a bunch of stuff in from Diamond this week that we had been missing. So that's cool. Turbo Hawk number 1. This is written and illustrated by Mazzimo. Y'all, I found it hard to follow the story of the book. There's this dude, I guess his name is Turbo Hawk. He's pretty cool and badass. Then there's this other dude on a mission of vengeance and revenge. This dude right here, I don't know. I couldn't really sink into the story, but man, the artwork was amazing. Now, I love gritty, textured, gnarly, underground, alternative type artwork that feels like it belongs in an 80s comic or an early 90s comic or something, and that's the vibe I get with this book. So if that's your vein, if that's your vibe, if that's what you're into, check this book out. It is awesome. I just couldn't quite sink into the story, but I am planning on purchasing this and purchasing all 4 because that artwork I could look at all day. Speaking of artwork I could look at all day, How about this right here? Mark Spears Monsters, issue number 4 is here with a plethora of covers. Mark is one of the hugest names in the business now. He's a personal friend of mine. I've known him for over 25 years. I could not be more proud of him. We have had him on the show. Watch that conversation. It was so much fun. But I got to bump into him a little bit at the expo this week. What little I could. I got a fist dab at the beginning, and then a little bit of a chat with him and Kevin Eastman towards the end, because that dude was busy all weekend long. His line was nonstop. It was one of the longest lines and most consistently not over lines in the expo, the entire expo. And we're talking about William Shatner being there. And I bet Mark saw more people than William Shatner did. That being said, Mark Spears Monsters issue number 4 is pretty solid. The story has definitely slowed up. So we're 4 issues in, and we haven't gotten a lot of monsters. Now, Mark knows this, and the monster stuff is coming, trust me. But we get a little bit of Monster Squad in this issue. We get a little bit of more character dynamics and relationships being fleshed out. We get some surprises. We get a great scene with the werewolf. And that's what this book is. This is a book of moments that Mark is crafting in Mark Spears Monsters. And it's perfect for not just fans of the Universal Monster stuff or horror films, but if you're a fan of basically 80s nostalgia, that's Mark's wheelhouse, and that's what he's playing with here in this book. He's giving us a sense or a series of moments of nostalgia, right? Like, he's giving us these moments that fit in an overall narrative that's building to something. And trust me, you're going to want to see what it builds up to. But I really like him. I love Mark, your Igor is like almost like the Igor from, it's almost like Marty Feldman from Young Frankenstein. I love the use of color. I think the use of color itself is incredibly dynamic. This chick with the snake tattoo is hot as hell. Speaking of hot as hell, bruh, that's Hexy the Witch. Mark created this character decades ago. I am so proud of you, bruh. It's also a great cover, and check it out. Cover of the week goes to the Hexy the Witch cover from Mark Spears, because this has been a long time coming, and that is amazing. I need a print. I need a print, Mark. Just let me know. Come up to the deep. I got some stuff for you to sign anyway. All right, then we got Godzilla vs. America, Godzilla vs. Los Angeles from IDW. This is a giant, oversized one-shot comic with 4 different stories in it about Godzilla in LA, right? And it's pretty cool. It's actually honestly cool because each story is done in a completely different style, artistically and story-wise. So the first story is by Gabriel Hardman, and it's a really interesting story about a reporter who winds up on Godzilla's back, reporting from it. Then we got the second story here about a woman trying to make her break in L.A., and Godzilla shows up and she kind of takes advantage of that. Then the third story is about the metro system in L.A., but how it sucks, but it's good in case of a Godzilla event. But it was rather clever and had a bit of charm to it. And then the final story was the weaker one for me. It was just all right, but it's about this creation of these people where they make like a big like mech to fight Godzilla or something like that. It was just all right, but overall it was a pretty solid issue. 4 different stories showing 4 completely different styles of not just artwork, but story as well. I like that. Also, we got TMNT, The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution, issue number 5. This is the final issue of the series. Got that Kevin Eastman cover because, yes, once again, I got to hang out with Kevin Eastman for just a little bit. I ran a panel with him this weekend at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. He was talking about this issue and how proud he was of this book and how there is a Last Ronin 3 coming, and this sets all of that up perfectly well. I had missed the last issue of this one. I got caught up so I could read this one. I enjoyed it. It was a very satisfying conclusion, but it did tug at my heartstrings just a little bit. I enjoyed this series, and I cannot wait for the next one. I thought it wrapped up the series in a very tragically sound way, and at the same time set up something very exciting for the future of this franchise. All right, let's jump over to Dynamite Comics. We got Red Sonja versus the Army of Darkness. Got a cool Mark Spears cover right there. Drink every time I say Mark Spears in this video. You'll be plastered, y'all. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Red Sonja versus the Army of Darkness. It's interesting. It's cool. Basically what happens is Ash starts getting sad that he can't get a date in the future. He misses Sheila from back in his Army of Darkness days. He decides to look her up on the internet, finds out that she died at the hands of Red Sonja. So he winds up going back into the past to save his love from Red Sonja. But of course, all is not as it seems. It's silly, it's fun, it's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's Red Sonja versus the Army of Darkness. That's what you want, that's what you get, and Dynamite delivers. So check it out. Then we got Giant Size Wacky Races issue number 1. This is just a one-shot comic book focusing mostly on Penelope Pitstop. It is written by Ivan Cohen, who we had here on the channel to talk about this book. It's a really cool conversation. I love the Wacky Races. I think Ivan did a really great job with this book of updating that concept for the modern era, but not losing the core of what the concept was or the silliness of it. There's some really nice Easter eggs in here. If you're a fan of Wacky Races, I would like to see this series develop into something ongoing. I'd like to see more of this. So if you're a fan of the Wacky Races, I would recommend that you check that one out. Then we have Thundercats 15, but I'd never covered Thundercats number 14 because of Diamond Shenanigans, so let's talk about it real quick. Thundercats number 14, love that Mannix cover, representing it's the Temperance card, right? Ontario, if I remember correctly. Anyway, that was a really cool issue, kind of wraps up that Mumra story, and I really thought it did an exceptional job of wrapping that up, but setting up what's to come. Look at that Mark Spears cover, all right? This was cool because now that the Mumra story is over, Joel Mulvey is back as the artist, and this is a story just focused on Lion-O stranded and on his own, searching for the Thundercats. It was pretty BA. Honestly, I really liked it. I think Joel Mulvey is the perfect artist for this book. I love Drew Moss, but I love having Mulvey on here as well. I really love his take on these characters. It really has a weight to it, a really bold approach. And I think Declan's been doing a hell of a job with Thundercats. A lot has happened. Feels like a slow burn, but a lot has happened. And this is a Thundercats story unlike many that I've seen before, and I'm all here for it. Also, we got this week Darkwing Duck issue number 3. But because of Diamond Shenanigans, I never covered issue number 2. Issue number 2, this is written by Daniel Kibblesmith. We had him on the channel to talk about this book. I really had a great conversation with him. Each issue of this, and they're all set in Darkwing Duck's early days, but each issue is like an episode of the cartoon, one and done. You have Bushroot as the villain in the second one. That was a really cool thing where he like disguised himself as a science teacher. And he had this weirdly dumb plan or whatever, but I really liked it. So then you got issue number 3, which is out this week. And this one is Darkwing Duck talking about how he learned the martial arts, right? So in typical hero fashion, he climbs up a mountain, goes to a monastery, and trains there. But it's not just that. It's a Darkwing Duck version of that, so it's pretty freaking fun. Daniel Kibblesmith knows how to write Darkwing Duck, and I am enjoying it. 3 issues in so far like crazy. From Mad Cave, we have The Slasher's Apprentice, written by Justin Richards with artwork by Val Halverson. This is the same team that did that book Finger Guns over at Vault a few years ago, a book I absolutely loved. I've been very excited for this book, and I liked it a lot. Now, me and Justin were trying to get it so that he could be on the channel before this book dropped. Unfortunately, with scheduling and everything happening, it just didn't happen. But Justin, I do want you to come on and talk about this book. So we'll plan something maybe in the next couple weeks. If you got time, I'll try to make the time. Let's make it happen. But this book was cool, right? So it's about this woman who hunts down this really famous serial killer, this slasher. And there's a lot of like homages to slasher movie kills in here. I could pick out some of them. Some of them like, I wonder what that was referencing. But there's one in particular is from Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I love. It's a Linnea Quigley scene. I really like that one. Good job there, y'all. Anyway, Slasher's Apprentice. I really liked it. If you're a fan of slasher movies, horror films, and stuff like that, definitely check it out. But she hunts down the slasher and she goes, yo, can I be your apprentice? I just spoiled the whole book, but that's also, I'm pretty sure, the solicitation. Anyway, read it. I really like it. If you're a fan of slashers, you'll like that one. Then we got Crush Depth, issue number 2. This is written by David Andre and Tim Daniel with artwork by Alex Sanchez. This is about a group of people that are trapped on a nuclear sub at the end of the world, right? So there was some kind of giant crisis on ground and everything is toxic up there. So they've been trapped in this nuclear sub for a long, long time. And now something has gotten onto this sub with them. Pretty cool stuff. A really great setup for a horror thriller film, sci-fi horror type thing. And they're paying it off right now in Crush Depth. I think the artwork is just okay, but the story is intriguing, and that concept alone, I'd watch that movie in a heartbeat. All right, this week we've got Savage Sword of Conan issue number 8. But first, because of Diamond shenanigans, I haven't covered Conan the Barbarian issue number 20. So let me talk about that real quick first. Zeb Wells continues to do what Zeb Wells does, which is tell a hell of a Conan story. This is wrapping up this Zulu story. I wasn't familiar with this character, but some really interesting stuff going on in here. Zulu versus Conan for the soul of Conan that's been possessed by some kind of serpent god or something like that. I really enjoyed it. It's a great ending to that and a setup for what's to come. So that was dope. Then we got Savage Sword of Conan issue number 8. I like the Savage Sword of Conan books that have like one long big story and then like a backup, but I also love the ones that have a bunch of stories in it. And the main story is my favorite. It is written by Dennis Culver with artwork by Chris Burnham. I am a huge fan of Chris Burnham's artwork, so seeing it in black and white on a Conan book was freaking gnarly. The second story had artwork by Marco Rudy, I believe. The artwork was great. The story was just kind of a little bit muddy, but I did like the artwork. The third story involved another character that, well, there's also a Zeb Wells poem. Now, this is one poem that I didn't mind, but there is a lot of rhyming in comics a lot of rhyming in comics this week, but this one I didn't mind because you also got that double page, beautiful Dan Panosian work right there. The second one is a character I'm not familiar with, but it's Cormac Fitzjoffrey, and it was decent, and it was all right, and I enjoyed that one. I think that's a setup of another character in the Howard-verse, possibly. And then you got a story by Liam Sharp. Liam Sharp's artwork is just amazing. So I would say that the big highlight of this book was the artwork, especially the Burnham and Sharp parts. I love that Panosian stuff, but the stories were cool too. It's just a nice, fun book you can grab and just have a nice time reading. Just grab a glass of whiskey or a glass of wine or beer or something. Sit back, have a smoke, have a drink. Read Savage Sword of Conan. There you go. If you need help drinking, Mark Spears. There you go. Who Are the Power Pals issue number 2 was even more fun than the first issue. The Power Pals was a superhero sitcom that didn't even make it one season. The two washed up actors are now security guards. They get fired, but they break in and steal their old costumes, or they're put on their old costumes. They wind up in a fight on the street. It goes viral. Then they're like, yo, let's be the Power Pals again. But they don't own the Power Pals, and so they're trying to be the Power Pals in real life, but then the property, like the IP owners, are becoming like villains against them. It's so much fun. It's so funny. The dialogue is just very snappy, very witty, incredibly funny. These characters, the way it works, along with the artwork, there's a Tybo, is that Billy Banks? Like some Tybo type stuff in here. I had so much fun with this book. It's got 90s nostalgia. It's super silly. It also has a touch of heart. I really am impressed with this book. Issue number 1 came out of nowhere, blew me away. Issue number 2, even better. Then we also got Frankenstein New World issue number 3. This one is written by Mike Mignola, Christopher Golden, and Tom Snagoski. Tom Snagoski is going to be on the channel Friday, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to have another conversation with him, maybe about Frankenstein New World and also Herculoids, but also he's got a new Vampirella book coming up, so we're going to be talking about that one as well. But Frankenstein New World, The Sea of Forever, I really like this book. I really love the colors. I love the artwork. It's got that Mike Mignola sensibility that all the Mignolaverse books have. The artwork is dark. The colors are great. And it's not even Dave Stewart. It's not. It's Michelle Madsen. And it's awesome. Really good stuff. Set in the world of Hellboy. If you're a fan, you're going to be a fan. So check it out. All right. Got a couple trades I want to show off today. One is Precious Metal. My favorite comic book of last year is now available this week as a collected trade paperback. It's big. Look at the size of that. And it's only $20. It's only $20. If this was a Marvel trade, that would be $40, $50 easily. Seriously. This book is worth it. The artwork is amazing. The story is amazing. It's one of the best books of the entire year. I mean, absolutely splendid. And this looks great. Smells great. I'm waiting for a hardcover to go along with my Little Bird hardcover. And also, speaking of hardcovers, how about this? Transformers Book 1. This is from the Inner John universe. The first 12 issues of Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers in a beautiful hardcover form. You've got this cover with Optimus. You also have another one with purple trim with Starscream. It's really hard for me to decide, but I figure there's going to be a Megatron one for Book 2. So I figured I'd rather have the Optimus Prime Megatron 1-2 punch, but this is the way I really want to collect the book. It's oversized from the normal size of a trade paperback, so it's larger. It's 12 issues. This is 6 issues. That actually is the content of probably 15, 16 issues. This is $50. That is a little pricey. This could have easily been 30, 35, 40, but it's 50. But still, it's pretty cool, and I'm glad. And they're doing this for Void Rivals and the Joe stuff, too. Anyway, so yeah, check that out in the Precious Metal. So let's recap. Frankenstein New World, if you like Mignola, you're going to like that. Who Are the Power Pals? Issue number 2 was absolutely fantastic. Savage Sword of Conan was dope. 2 weeks ago, Conan the Barbarian number 20 came out, but I'm just now reading and covering it. It is pretty freaking dope. Crushed Death has a really cool concept. I'd watch the movie. Slasher's Apprentice. If you love slasher films, definitely check that one out. Darkwing Duck. Y'all, Daniel Kibblesmith's been killing it on Darkwing Duck. If you're a fan of the show, you'll love that. Thundercats has been good too. I've been liking this book. I've been hearing some people kind of waning on it. Y'all, I'm really into it, especially when Joe Mulvey's on it. And check out that Mark Spears cover. Then we got Giant Size Wacky Races. If you love Wacky Races, no reason why you won't like that. Red Sonja vs. Army of Darkness with a Mark Spears. Okay, I'm done saying it. I'm done. Oh, shit, I have to say it one more time at least. Anyway, Red Sonja versus the Army of Darkness. If you like those properties, definitely check that one out. Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution final issue. Big surprises, sad endings, and setting up Part 3. Godzilla vs. Los Angeles. 4 different stories and 4 different styles. Really cool stuff. Mark Spears Monsters. Cover of the week. Really solid book. It's given us moments. Moments. Turbo Hawk. Didn't really understand everything that was going on, but I love the artwork, and I'm on board 100%. Smell of the week goes to Planet Death, issue number 0. Check it out, $1.99. First Bad Idea comic that's widely available. And it's good. It's really good. Rocket Fellas is losing me. Bitterroot is continuing to engage me. You'll Do Bad Things improves on the first issue, but doesn't quite sell me yet. I was sold already on We're Taking Everyone Down With Us with issue number 1, but issue number 2 cranked it up even more. The Seasons, this was the weakest issue yet, a lot of rhyming in it. Feral has a great cover. Also, this book is just one of my favorites. Void Rivals maybe stepped back a little bit in this arc, but it was all to build up some big moments to come, as evident there. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Silent Missions Duke, a masterclass in sequential storytelling. Lost Fantasy was a great new Image comic book for you to sink your teeth into. First appearance of Aquaman here in More Fun Comics 73 reprint. Batman Long Halloween, Last Halloween feels a little disconnected and disjointed for me. Detective Comics issue or annual was an interesting detective story by Al Ewing. Batman Superman World's Finest annual was the weakest chapter of We Are Yesterday Yet. Hellhunters had a very fun and satisfying conclusion. Red Hulk, it's not going to change lives, but it's pretty freaking solid. Fantastic Four was whack. It was. Weapon X-Men was good. The whack thing is, it's not going to last too much longer. Come on, y'all. Let them know you want it to come back. Ultimate Spider-Man, big revelations in this issue. Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, a follow-up to Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. So if you like that story, definitely check this one out. But the pick of the week goes to Godzilla vs. Spider-Man. Nick Bradshaw's detailed, textured artwork, as well as Joe Kelly just writing a very fun story. And spoilers, if you don't want to see it, spoilers, skip 10 seconds. That's pretty fucking cool. Spoilers are over. All right. That's what I read. That's what I thought. That's what I'm digging. What are you reading? What are you thinking? What are you digging? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And do me a birthday present favor and tell everybody about the channel. Yeah, let's get to 25K as soon as we can, y'all. That would be great, wouldn't it? That'd be awesome. Let's do it. We're almost there, y'all. Almost there. All right, I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station. Pop, pop. Boom!